time for Dave 101.
All right, it is time once again to give an opinion. Whether it matters or not, I don't really know. But you know, one thing that I got into is earlier today, I was interviewed by a good friend of mine, Mark Petroni from Saga 960 AM, one of the radio stations that broadcasts our show on a nightly basis out of Mississauga, Ontario. And we were talking about Bigfoot, evidence, what we need to do. Because one of the big things and one of the big arguments that we see time and time again is about people's experiences, about proof, what is proof, what should be proof, what can be proof, and what not. We see it in the paranormal realm, talking with Jacob Rice earlier this week. How can technology help us out in solving some of these mysteries? One of the issues that we have in this field is we don't have any answers. One of the most suspect things anybody can title themselves as in this field is an expert. There are no experts. You can't have experts if you don't have answers or conclusions. It's kind of hard to have both at the same time. We don't know what Sasquatch is. We don't know what Dogman is. We don't know why people are seeing Thunderbirds. We don't know why people are seeing trolls under bridges or witches flying on brooms in the sky or anything cryptid and odd. There is no proof that it exists. What we do have is anecdotal evidence for the most part. But the other thing we don't have is proof to deny the existence of the creatures. I know what I've seen. People out there listening to this show know what they've seen. Whether it's lights in the sky or a shadow walking down their hallway in their house. It really doesn't matter. We know what we saw. But here's the thing when it comes to experts, when it comes to those who think they are in the know, they are people who are trying to pull the wool over your eyes. And there's a lot of it in these fields, and it needs to stop. We never take the evidence that we want to have and that we ask to have as seriously as we should. We're sick of anecdotal stories, but for some reason, when somebody brings a video out or photographic evidence, it's not good enough. When are we going to be satisfied as people who are trying to search for what is happening in the phenomena? This isn't a shot at those who are investigating. Not at all. But you can't solve mysteries if you are pushing opinion. Take the BFRO. You've heard me say it before. When they are caught red-handed, taking reports from people and either editing them because there's woo involved or not posting them because they don't want to be embarrassed by the woo, we have an issue. There's nothing scientific about opinion. If we want to solve these issues, these mysteries, we shouldn't have to wait for death in order to get the answers if there's an afterlife. If. We all hope there is. So what do we really want as a field? Well, we get people who start off podcasts to get answers. That's what we did. Many are like us. We get people who are writing blogs, creating YouTube channels, just so we can state our opinion because we feel our voices have been muffled. And it's a way for us to get out there and open ourselves up to trying to solve some mysteries on a selfish level for ourselves. Take ghost hunting. Every year in North America alone, never mind the world, there's about 50,000 ghost hunters running around chasing spirits. Haunted buildings, haunted cemeteries, haunted trails, haunted houses. The majority of them do not even know what they're looking for. They're just hoping for some sort of communication. They're just hoping that they catch that weird photo, that weird video, or that strange voice on an EVP. What does that solve? We don't know if that solves life after death. We don't know if that solves the idea that we are multidimensional beings and we've crossed planes with communication. We don't know. There are too many questions to answer. Majority of them will never be answered in our lifetime. And I'm pretty sure that some of them we're not supposed to know the answers to those questions. But it's sure fun trying. Because that's what we do. We've had experiences, or we have curiosity, or we have a combination of both that leads us down this path. And we want to be able to be that person who says, I think I know what's going on. I think I understand. It gives us a little bit of a center of attention. And through all the people who are investigating, the real scientists, the real journalists, the real investigators, the fake journalists, the fake scientists, and the fake investigators, we all have one common love, and that is the love of these topics. Some of us do it to get spooked out. Some of us do it because we need to know. And some of us, like David Weatherly or Butch Witkowski, had dedicated their lives to this. We all deserve the right to know the answers to our questions. And I think it's great that we just don't settle for I don't know. Even when I don't know is the only true answer to give. Because I will tell you, it's a lot of fun going out in the forest searching for Sasquatch. It's a lot of fun sitting in chairs under a starry sky that's not bled over by city lights and looking for aerial phenomena. It is absolutely wonderful to be in a darkened museum in the middle of the evening trying to communicate with ghosts. If you're a thrill seeker, for me, I don't think there is anything better for us to be doing. I really don't. It's a different kind of thrill. It's not bungee jumping or jumping out of airplanes or swimming with sharks that can eat you in one bite, like they would with me. No, it's the thrill of chasing the unknown. We should be happy to be having this hobby. We should be collectively eager to help each other out to see what your evidence is. Instead of the backstabbing and the conniving that we see on a nightly basis, here we are wondering, what are those answers? Here we are wondering if we'll ever get the answers. If we teamed up, there is enough brilliant people in this field, in order to help push us to those answers. But we don't want to do that. Conflict of interest, conflict of opinion, attitudes, egos, you name it. That's what we see on a daily basis. Social media gatherings, sabotaging people behind the scenes so that way they can't get into locations to research. It's a sad, sad state of affairs when you pull the covers off this field. And for what? We all have the same goals. We all have the same wants, the same needs, and the same desires to solve those mysteries. And unfortunately, this is something we can't do alone. It's got to be more than the scientific side. It's got to be more than the spiritual side or the First Nations side or the weekend warrior investigator side. That's the part I'm part of, the weekend warrior side. It's got to be more. We, as researchers, bloggers, vloggers, radio hosts, we need to ask for more from these investigators. More stories, more evidence, more video footage, more photographs, more audio, and more personal encounters, which should mean just as much, especially when it comes to UFO world. You may not like anecdotal evidence. It may not be exactly what you want because, let's face it, we're humans and we are going to err in our ways. And we are going to misremember our stories. But that's okay. In between those words, there are always clues for us to be able to solve the mysteries that we are trying to chase down. We need to be able to do that. We need to be able to move this ball forward for the sake of those who spent their lifetime doing this and are no longer here, and those who are just getting into the field, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, looking to find them aliens, or that Sasquatch, or that Dogman. But on the flip side, as investigators, we need focus. We need to focus on what we are trying to solve. Not opinion, focus. What are our goals? What are we trying to conclude here? It's like a grade 8 science experiment that we got to go back in time and relearn how to do. Because if we don't, we're not following anything. We're just following the path that leads to nowhere and hoping for different results. That is the definition of insanity. But then again, maybe we all have to be a little insane to do this hobby that we call chasing the phenomena. That is your Dave 101 for this week. Do me a favor, leave a comment below if you're going to be watching this on YouTube, and let me know what you think. I'm going to be very curious.